How's it going, everyone? This is Bernardo here. This is another unsubjective reality video. In today's video, I'm going to be talking a little bit about the concept of artificial superintelligence, which is, of course, being talked about more and more in the AI world. And I wanted to tie that into a tweet response that I saw by Elon Musk this week. I'll put this tweet over here so you guys can look at it. It was a simple response, but the tweet basically said that 10 to 20 years from now, we're going to be seeing humanoid robots and flying drones everywhere. And these humanoid robots are going to be interacting with us as, housekeepers, as grocery store employees, as janitors, and what have you, all these professions that were listed on the tweet. And Elon Musk's response to that claim was simply true. That he's a very controversial figure, and he likes to take on the Twitter to speak his mind. But I believe that this statement is not too far from reality, and I think that this reality might be closer than we think. So I wanted to tie in to that the concept of artificial superintelligence, which I'll explain here in a second. But starting with that, I think we're already starting to see so many humanoid robots being produced. Even the Tesla Optimus robot, which of course it's a company that belongs to Elon, and it seems pretty inevitable that robots and AI automation is going to replace a lot of human jobs in the near future. So I also wanted to talk a little bit about what that could look like. So to start with the concept of artificial superintelligence, to put it in layman's terms, it's the concept that artificial intelligence is going to surpass human beings on every level and capacity of human endeavor, and that AI would basically develop a consciousness and would be able to evolve and improve itself over time without the need of human input. And of course, this concept hasn't been materialized yet, but some say it's going to come true in the next 5 years. Some say 10 years. I've seen clips of Elon Musk himself saying that in 3 to 6 years, but I believe it to be more in about 10 to 15 years, if I were to guess. And at the current stage of artificial intelligence development, AI is still pretty narrow. It can do certain tasks better than humans, but it lacks true consciousness. And that's where the humanoid robot reflection ties into this concept of artificial superintelligence, of where what if in 10 to 20 years we're interacting with these humanoid robots, but they have true consciousness, meaning that they're self-aware, they can work problems out, they can think on their feet pretty much, and have the capacity for abstract thoughts, and I think most importantly the ability to develop themselves and to improve themselves, and pretty much the ability to evolve. I think that that's a concept that there's going to generate a lot of controversy in the world in the next few years. And it's a world that has been envisioned in some sci-fi movies in the past. The iRobot movie, where pretty much the robots develop that self-awareness and they start questioning their servitude to humans. I think these sci-fi movies aren't necessarily too far away from becoming a reality in the world that we live in, and that leaves a lot of room for thought. What would that mean for humanity if now there's a pretty much a different entity or a different being that is outperforming us on every aspect and every sphere of human endeavor. And clearly the ASI, the artificial superintelligence, is a concept that all the big tech companies are pursuing. I think it's pretty much a race to see who gets there first and materializes this concept first. So I'm sure we'll be seeing that soon in the future. And of course, if this concept is achieved, according to the specialists, the AI will not only be able to replicate itself, but also evolve and become better at an unbelievably fast rate. The type of technological evolution that we've never experienced before. And that brings a bunch of questionings to other areas of society inevitably. What will happen to the jobs that are going to be replaced by automation and by AI? Automation is not going to stop. Uh, it's here to stay. So the big question that remains is, how do we adapt to it? Of course, I think the thought that comes to mind is, what's going to happen to the income earning ability of those who get their jobs replaced by AI? And there's of course a lot of questioning, a lot of brainstorming around that for when the time comes that this process does happen. I've read recently Bill Gates suggesting that companies who replace human labor with AI should be taxed higher. in an effort to sort of slow down the process of automation. And I don't know. I don't know that that's gonna be effective. I believe that somehow, some way, there would be a way around that. And I think another concept that I've heard is UBI, which basically means universal basic income, which is pretty much giving a monthly income to those who were affected by the automation process and had their jobs replaced. This income would, of course, cover basic needs, but all of this is still very much up in the air. There's a lot of speculation around this process and how things are going to play out in the next few years. Um, I was just thinking about it after I read Elon's response, and of course, he's got his own interests in this process. He owns Tesla, and Tesla's already making these robots. I just think that it would be, society would be unrecognizable when that process really ends up happening. Even a movie I watched recently called Subservience with Megan Fox, she's the main character, which is pretty much an AI housekeeper who, at the end of the day, grows her own consciousness and wants to take a bigger role in the family, other than just assisting as the housekeeper, which is what she's meant to be. And I think that all of that should, you know rupture the frontier of sci-fi and become reality here in the next few years. So it'd be interesting to see how us as humans adapt to that, and what benefits and drawbacks it brings to the human experience in general. So I think this process is inevitable, and I think it's well on its way to fruition. And there's certainly a lot to be seen still in the next decade, I'd say, on this. And there's going to be a lot of breakthroughs in the AI world. I think that's for sure, like we've never seen before, I would argue. And yeah, I'd like to know your thoughts. What do you think of artificial superintelligence? What do you think of AI becoming conscious? I want to make more videos exploring this subject in the near future. Talking about AI automation, and potentially which jobs could be affected by it. So yeah, if you like the videos, subscribe, and we'll see you on the next one. Always forward.